Hi, welcome to my home. I'm so glad you stopped by. If you're new to my channel, my name is Kathy, and if you like to learn how to bake from scratch and preserve food for long-term food storage, whether it be for canning meat or vegetables or dehydrating, or just knowing what to stock in your pantry so that you have the basic ingredients on hand to be able to do all those things, then you're in the right place. Now in today's video, I'm going to be making some deluxe sugar cookies. These sugar cookies are absolutely delicious and your family and friends are going to love them. Leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite Christmas cookie is and how you and your family celebrate the Christmas holiday. In my bowl I have a half a cup of butter. That's 1 stick of butter and it has been softened. I let it sit on my counter for a little bit to soften it up. And to that I'm going to add a half a cup of powdered sugar and a half a cup of granulated sugar. And now I'm just going to cream these together. Okay, now to this I'm going to add a half a cup of oil, one teaspoon of vanilla, and this is my homemade vanilla, and to my flour, in this bowl I have 2.5 cups of flour, and to that I'm going to add, in this bowl there's a half a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of cream of tartar, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to give those a stir. And I'm going to add that in just a minute. Before I add that, I am going to add 1 egg. And I am going to break my egg into this little bowl just in case I end up with shells. Because guaranteed if I put it directly into here, into my bowl, there would have been shells that I'd be scooping out. So there we go, in with the egg. Now I'm going to turn this on and start mixing that up. And once the egg is incorporated in, I will start to add my flour. All right, well, this is all mixed together. We have a nice dough here. Now we're going to put this in the refrigerator and let it sit for 1 to 2 hours. Okay, once your dough has been refrigerated for 1 to 2 hours, you're just going to pull it out of the refrigerator, and if you did a larger batch of the dough, it's probably best to take out some of the dough at a time so that it doesn't get too soft on you. But here I just have a lightly floured board here. You can do it on your countertop as well. And now I'm going to take my rolling pin, and I'm just going to roll this out. I just kind of go slow, one way then the other, and as you're doing this, it will start to warm up. If you go too fast, it's going to get too crumbly, so just take your time. As it warms up a little bit, those the butter will start to melt, and so your dough will get softer. If it gets too sticky, just put some flour on top of your dough, and you'll know that because it'll start to stick to your rolling pin like that. Just put some flour on your pin and then on your dough a little bit, and that way it can roll out. And if the thicker you leave the dough, the thicker your cookies are going to be. And if you do thin, real thin, then your cookies will be thin, and they'll be harder. They'll be more of a crunch. If it's a little bit thicker, it'll be cakey, which is kind of what I want. Now, one thing I like to do, because these type of cookie cutters, they tend to, the dough sometimes will stick in little sections. So what I like to do is just put a little bit of flour on my dough, and then when I press in my cookie cutter, it comes right off and it doesn't stick. Do a little tree. Now sometimes they'll get stuck inside like this. I just hold it over my hand and give it some taps, and usually it'll come right out. Oop. Okay, well that one didn't work. That's okay. We'll try it again. Sometimes if you have the cookie cutters like this, those tend to work a little bit better because they go straight through. Oh, well, that was a fail as well. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to put a little bit more flour this time. Apparently everything wants to stick today. We'll do a star. There, that one came out. Put it over on my pan. Okay, get some of these off of here. Once you have your cookies cut out, you're going to bake these at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes, or until the edges are lightly browned. Your oven may cook hotter or cooler, so you'll just have to adjust the time based on how your oven cooks. But 10 to 12 minutes is a good a good starting point for that. So let's get these in the oven and get them cooking. And once you pull them out of the oven, want sugar sprinkles on them. You would do that now while the cookies are hot. I like to put the cookies on a wire rack that's sitting inside of a cookie sheet so that the sprinkles don't get all over the cookie sheet that I'm baking the cookies on. It's like this while it's still hot. You just give it a sprinkle. And then that sugar will melt into the cookies. Now if you wanted to frost these or put icing on them, you would just let the cookies cool And then once the cookies are cool, you would then frost or put on the icing. And there you have it. I hope you liked today's video, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing, and be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified each time I put out a new video. Well, until next time, I hope you have an amazing day, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye now.